Hi everybody, welcome to Soapbox. My name is Mauro DePasquale. I'm the Executive Director here at WCCA TV13, the People's Channel, and your host of Soapbox. I want to thank you for watching the show. Now you're watching us on cable, or you can watch us online, streaming in real-time simulcast at WCCA TV13, so you can call your friends, and no matter what state or country, and say, tune in now, watch our local programming. And what we stand for is media democracy, and that means we're a place where you can produce your very own TV show. No matter what the subject, share your opinions, your views, heritage, cultural background. You want to talk politics, you want to talk cooking, art, exercise, whatever it may be. Look at our channel. Everything you see reflects your interest. The city of Worcester. If you live, study, or work in the city of Worcester, you can become a member here. We have training classes that go on all year long, including youth after-school media production programs. So we have young people that are here in the afternoons producing TV shows and news clips and all of that. We have many venues and many platforms available to assist you and to give you visibility and exposure that you may want for your organization or for your business, or just to share, as I said earlier, just to share something unique about yourself that really makes Worcester a better place. So that's what we do at WCCA TV. We're a nonprofit, charitable organization. Look us up online, WCCATV.com. We're on Facebook as well, and just watch our channel. For more information, call us, 508-755-1880. If you go to extension 11, you will get the person who runs this place, and that's me, so I'll talk to you. Or you can call any of our staff, or just look us up online. Without further ado, I'd like to get into today's program. I want to welcome our guest, Kayla Daly. She's MAMT/BC, board certified music therapist.
I am.
All right, music therapy. I'm into that. This is really interesting, so I want to hear about what you do. Now, Kayla, you're a Worcester person, huh?
I am, born and raised.
Where can I ask you what area of town you're?
Right around the Elm Park area.
Oh, good for you. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but did you go to Doherty?
No, I didn't. I went to St. Peter's.
St. Peter's, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, still good. So now, how have you been in music all your life, or in art?
I have. I started playing guitar at the age of 12, and pursued my undergraduate degree in art therapy at Lesley University, and realized, after my first internship that it really wasn't for me, and that music was still in my heart, and so then I went on to grad school and finished my graduate degree with, a dual degree of licensed mental health counseling and music therapy. Yeah,
wow, that's a pretty diverse, But I find that happens with a lot of musicians. They'll start off, they'll be in music, then they'll leave, because you usually have that feel like, you're never going to make a living playing music. And plus the big mistake is they say you play music, it's really working music, but that's a whole nother show. So you did artwork, so you must be a really good artist.
No, I wouldn't call it. Well, and that's the difference between expressive arts therapies, is that they're process-oriented, not product-oriented.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
But you do in the type of music therapy that I work in. It is important to be exceptional at your instrument and to have an array of instruments that you can play adequately on. And so there is a piece of that aesthetic piece. But
and as a certified music therapist, you have to know a number of disciplines, right? You have to know piano,
guitar, drums.
Yeah. And what about voice, too?
Voice is the main
There's a certain way to approach.
Exactly.
Now, you studied when you were 12. Did you study around here? Did you take music from?
I did. I took guitar lessons from Matt Robbins at Curlin Music Center, who was a student of Joe D'Angelo. And so I eventually took from Joe a couple lessons.
Good. Joe's a good friend of mine.
He's a good guy.
he's the one that played in my band when you said you heard of it. That's why. Okay, now it's a small musical world.
It is.
Somebody said it was like a carousel. If you were on it long enough, everybody gets to play with each other for a while. Yeah. And Matt teaches. He's a teacher. Right? He's a teacher up at Doherty. Right now, I think.
No, I think he's just teaching out of Curlin Music.
Oh, is he? Yeah. Okay, all right. So he's teaching at Curlin. Curlin is another institution.
Yes.
And it was so sad we lost Paul.
I know.
A little while
it was
ago.
awful.
Yeah. So, but music, people when they see me, they say, "You still playing?" And I say, "Yeah, but it's a therapy for me. Music is my therapy because I'm busy with this stuff all day, and I get to play. It's like my passion, my joy." But we're talking a different therapy, folks. So we're going to tell you right off the bat. It's different. Maybe to some degree, but you can clarify that. So you're in the music business. You just go to school, and here you are, a certified music therapist. Are there a lot of music therapists in this area?
We've got a nice little group going, and that's kind of what Worcester Music Therapy Services hopes to do, is to kind of bring everyone together and start getting contracts going in the local hospitals of Worcester, the schools, the different nursing home organizations, to really have Worcester Music Therapy Services be the hubbub of your expressive therapies, throughout the city and Worcester County area. Right now we're servicing children as young as 5 up to young adults age 22, primarily with developmental disability or neurological impairments. And I think that that's what's important about talking about music therapy. It's clinical therapy. This isn't, something that a person who plays guitar and walks into a school and says, well, I'm a music therapist. You can actually do some damage. And so myself, as well as Cara Brindisi and a couple of other music therapists in the area, are really, we really want to push that because we didn't go to, 7 years of school to then be competing with people in our field who don't necessarily have the skill set and can do some damage. You wouldn't call a person who likes children to do occupational therapy or physical therapy with your son if they didn't have a degree in it. And so it's the same thing for
you got to know
therapy.
what you're doing.
It really is.
And maybe you could talk about that. What are some of the applications when you talk music therapy, okay? If someone... Let's pick an example. Someone has an injury. It could be a stroke. It could be anything. Got one? Good. Take one.
So this is actually a case study that I recently published, and it's through a podcast, and it's available right now, and it's called Itty Bitty Steps, and it's individual tailored music therapy song interventions, for children. And so the podcast is presented at imagine.musictherapy.biz. So you can go and listen to me talk through some of the interventions that I used with this child. But this particular child, she had some rigid behaviors. So she's born with a couple of big diagnoses: microencephalitis, global developmental delays, and epilepsy. And so, in her environment, she was very rigid about things had to be the way that she wanted them to be, and that meant going to the bathroom with everyone whenever they wanted to go to the bathroom, or if she wanted to vacuum, you had to vacuum. And she's 2, and she's ruling the house. And so what we did was we made some song interventions that literally reinvent the meaning of waiting for her, because waiting, when she had to wait, she would literally throw up. She would be so upset. And so we needed to really provide an intervention that enabled her family to function. And so all of the songs that we did were really reinventing her as a 2-year-old musician, as opposed to, you need to wait, we're not going in the car yet, and having a tantrum. And so, we did a bunch of different songs using different genres of music, Spanish music, music that feels impatient, and kind of validated how she felt. Waiting is hard for 2 years old, but also supported her in her waiting and said, your job is not to feel impatient, but it's more to play the drum and help mom get out the door, to get into the car. Or your job is to play the ukulele when I go to the bathroom. When I come back, I hope that you've played me a song. And all of these different types of interventions that we use, it's a really nice way to kind of see how clinical it is in supporting her therapeutically in her growth and development.
Yeah, that's interesting. So how old is she again?
Now she's older, but at the time when we did the study, she was 2 and
She was 2. So now, what are the results today? Do you see?
And so the results are that
they're measurable?
The mother, exactly. It's evidence-based data practice that we practice in music therapy, especially at Worcester Music Therapy Services. And so 2 weeks, mom implemented, we recorded the songs with her, with the little girl, and mom implemented them for 2 weeks, singing them with her, actively engaged in live music making with her, and literally 2 weeks, that's all it took for her to move through these rigid behaviors. And then you move right along and see what's next. So interesting. Now, are there any parallels to, say, like occupational therapy? Because it takes a certain motor skill to do certain things, even just the drum, Exactly.
So can you talk a little bit about that, some of those comparisons?
Sure. I think that the competencies for the graduate degree in music therapy are what make it different. It really is that much more clinical in nature. The undergraduate music therapists are trained more recreationally, still effective, still amazing. But in the graduate level, you are apt to be on a team of occupational therapists, physical therapists. You're learning about all of those different therapies and how to implement them in music. The nice thing about music is that you're able to literally almost combine all of the therapies into one thing. You've got movement in music, working on range of motion, and all of these different things. So it's one of those comprehensive and efficient therapies, and that's why you see some other therapies can be a little more threatened by a music therapist on board, when in reality it should be a team effort, and they can definitely feel that we bring what their work is together and help generalize it.
Yeah.
And so the work that you do in an hour, we're going to help generalize it. So
you say generalize. I see almost like apply.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
you can apply it. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. I was always surprised you didn't see more of that early. When I was younger, even it was just kind of starting out, like in the 70s.
Yes.
You started hearing about it.
It
was
actually
more
originated in the
experimental.
60s, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard part, that people don't necessarily see it as a valid form of psychotherapy when it really is, and it's proven itself.
People probably confuse it with entertainment. How is it different than an entertaining musician?
Exactly. Well, we get it all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, the music lady's here. Oh, play us a song. And
Right,
in reality, it's about you playing a song with me, and it's our triangular relationship between the client, the therapist, and the music.
Yeah,
And so.
yeah, and you don't have to be a Pavarotti or Liberace on the piano or something. You could just. Boy, do I sound old, huh?
No.
But it's like you said earlier. It's about the process.
Exactly.
It's about that. So if in art, it must be the same way. You were doing art therapy.
Exactly.
So if you like doodling and if you find that relaxing, there's something that's in a way. There's that relationship there that you can see that can lead to some therapeutic benefit.
And it all really stems back to philosophically, Heidegger and talking about existentialism. It really is, because you're the most present in the moment when you're making music. And you have Heidegger used to talk about a relationship with the art form. And I think that is one of the things that it's not just an object. It's a relationship between you and the music, and that's what makes it so valid and important and personal for a lot of people. And that's why it is so effective.
Yeah, I think a lot of musicians that are musicians, just for that sake, find that the same way. The music, they'll use terms like the music speaks to me, or the music is my friend. It takes care of me. You hear that a lot when you converse with other musicians. So in a way, they're sort of in there, but it's a different. Of course, they're applying it differently than you would,
right?
And you're in a clinical setting.
There's a lot of therapeutic qualities in group music making that, when administered by a music therapist, it does become clinical music therapy. But when people are just playing music together, you can see the connections and you can see the benefits of, communicating with someone just non-verbally through music.
Right. It's
call and
amazing at that level.
And all of those techniques.
Yeah, and if you get into the history of that, that's a whole other thing. But it's really interesting how that works. Yeah, certainly transcends speech and most things. Now, you recently participated in a fundraiser. It was a Dance to Live Foundation fundraiser.
Yes.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
We were contacted because the Dance to Live Foundation was started by a young woman who was fighting against depression as young as 7. She was diagnosed and medicated, and really her way of battling through that disorder was to dance and to experience dance therapy. And so what the Dance to Live Foundation does is they raise money so that we are able to provide services to people who might not have access, because a lot of insurance companies battle with seeing them as valid therapies, and which is why the master's program has the license in mental health counseling, because I'm able to bill insurance through Worcester Music Therapy Services and do licensed mental health counseling and music. And so that's important, because we need to be able to give services to families that might not be able to pay out of pocket. A lot of our Worcester families that really deserve and need the services don't have access because of that. And so we will be accepting insurance in the year 2014.
Yeah. So that's good.
But the Dance to Live Foundation was something that's just amazing. Just amazing.
Now, is Worcester Music Therapy, is that you?
Yes.
So, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah, because we were talking about it. So Worcester Music Therapy Services is a service you provide. It's the name, it's the shingle that you...
It's my shingle, yes.
Yeah, it's the sign. So, I'm surprised. Now, do you apply this at places like Fallon Clinic and some of these therapeutic, rehab centers? Do they utilize it?
Yes.
Okay.
And so it is, for the school system, it is IDEA regulated, so you can have it on an IEP, an individual education plan for children who need it, and in other settings as well. It's a valid evidence-based practice therapy.
Yeah.
And so, there are 4 or 5 different states in the United States that have licensure right now where you can bill for insurance through your license in music therapy. Massachusetts, unfortunately, is not one of them, which is why there is the license in mental health counseling. So I would say, do you want to come for music therapy? We're going to bill it on your insurance at Blue Cross and say, hey, he's receiving licensed mental health counseling services and music.
Oh, okay.
And that's how we would do it.
That's how you get it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know a person that was, that is very dear and close to me that suffered a stroke who happened to be an excellent musician. And, I often thought, I found myself like writing things for him so he can come back. Because he was paralyzed on one side. And he had to redevelop muscle motor skills from big to small.
Exactly.
And so we took a long time. But I always wondered, where's the music therapist?
And that's,
and it's something that people don't know that they could turn to. And I obviously didn't know it, and I'm a musician.
And the neural imaging that they're able to show people now is that you literally can rebuild neural fibers in your brain. You can make new neural connectivity and new neural plasticity. They've proven all of this. And so, for example, when there's a speech problem, speech is processed mainly on your left side. And so they say, well, tap out the syllables with your right with the rhythm and while you're singing it. Music is processed on both sides of your brain. And so when you sing something, it's processed more effectively than if you just spoke it.
Right.
Because your entire brain is engaged in processing that information.
Yeah.
And so it really is amazing that they're able to now say, hey, look at this neural image before and after, and here's the progress.
Yeah. Now, who makes the determination in a patient's case that, okay, you need occupational therapist, you need music therapy? Is there a person, or should it be up to the patient and their family to decide?
It depends on what kind of client you're working with. For children, obviously the parent is the caregiver, the guardian will be making decisions like that, usually with the help of a team or a social worker or even a counselor as myself. And so, it just depends. If there's an adult, if they have a guardian assigning services to them, if they have a team of therapists, it's usually said, well, what's the presenting symptoms? How long has it been occurring? And what's the most effective therapy to use? There are some clients that aren't necessarily they wouldn't be a candidate for music therapy, and people say, what do you mean? Music helps everyone. But there are some clients that it's just not for them. And so it's important that people recognize it's not just something that you can kind of wing in and put there. But usually, unfortunately, right now, what happens is, all the other therapies didn't work. Let's call the music therapist. I was going to ask you that, if you get the respect that you should be getting, But you know what? We do in that way, because then we get the difficult clients, and music therapy oftentimes does work. And
see that I fixed this one in your face.
Well, it's more so that it validates it. It validates that it's effective, and you can here's your documentation. Here's your evidence-based practice, and here it is. And so that's the huge difference that we're hoping to make in Worcester is that people recognize that, and the science is behind it.
Yeah. That's excellent. I think it's good work. And it must be rewarding for you to know that you're really helping somebody with something that you love to do.
Exactly.
It's such a gift.
I was definitely engineered to do this. And, everybody that talks to me that has known me for a long time has said, oh my gosh, it's like, that was just, made for you. Made for you. And I'm blessed that I found it, because I go to work happy every day.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. Is guitar your major instrument?
Guitar and voice are my main instruments. A lot of people in the music side of things would say, oh, your voice is your main instrument. And a lot of people on the therapy side of things would say guitar is your main instrument. I love both. And right now, my main challenge is moving forward in piano. I love piano.
Yeah.
So.
Do you perform as well as a performer too, or do you do that or have time?
I do. Yeah. My fiance and I met through making music together. He's a bass player, and so together we gig out sometimes, and we're getting married next year, and so we're going to play our wedding. And
you're going to play your own wedding?
Yeah.
So the head table's on stage, basically?
Yeah, well, we'll have a couple songs, and then, we're bringing all our friends in.
That's cool.
So
That's good, yeah.
It's a,
what band does he play in? Does he
he
bass?
plays in a couple different bands. So he plays with Dan Burke in the Royal Treatment.
Oh, okay.
And, he's played, but that's his main band right now to kind of gig out with. He plays with the Be Heard Showcase. That's a big thing in Worcester. And so, we try to get to everything that we can, but
good.
It's hard, having a business is very overwhelming.
Yeah.
But your heart's in it, and you want to do it, and you want to be there every day. So.
And that's a great thing, because to be a professional music in this city, you either have to be a musician and teach, or teach music, or do something else.
Exactly.
And you're keeping it; it's all in music, and that's wonderful. That's really good. Now you released a CD.
I did.
Called A Day at the Fair.
Yes.
And this is it. I don't know, Frank, if you can, I can hold at least this much of it. It's probably easy to see there. And there's 9 songs on it?
Yes.
You're right in the back here. So it's Kayla Daly, A Day at the Fair. You want to talk a little bit about this? Is this
sure.
Are these all therapeutic?
These were songs that were actually written in therapy sessions. And so they were songs that were built around goals for communication, building social emotional skills in children, communication skills in children, in active music making together. And so, it really focuses on, are we passing instruments? Are we sharing? Are we paying attention to the musical shifts and dynamics that my partner is playing? Is there a give and take? Is there the call and response in the music? And so, but all the songs were made for children, from ages around 0 to 10. And I loved when I first put it out because everybody started sending me pictures of their kids singing these songs and beating on pots and pans, and that's exactly what it was for, was to get, okay, I can't be with you all the time, but, when you need some help, put the CD on and take out some instruments and, bang on some pots and pans with your kids, because that is really going to make a difference. And so it's the carryover. And so these are for sale at Bandcamp. /Kayla Daly, you can search it, and so those are, you can buy them online actually for cheaper, and then you can actually have a hard copy as well.
Bandcamp is a place where you can buy the music.
Online,
online.
An online website.
So bandcamp.com
/Kayla Daly.
Kayla Daly. Check it out. Pretty good. And could anyone play this for their kids if they
Anybody
had kids, just for fun?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And all the proceeds go right directly back into the business.
So, all right, good. Yeah, you'll be supporting Worcester Music Therapy Services here in the city, and that's really great.
Exactly.
Yeah. Any final comments? We're down to the last couple. We've maybe got about a minute left.
We're just located, on 130 Elm Street in Worcester, and so you can always come by. Consults are free. And so we really suggest that if it's something that you think might be a good fit for you or your child, we ask that you call us. The number is 508-304-2415 to call and make a consult. It's free. And, we also hope that you check out the podcast. And here's our Facebook page. I made a sign.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, see, hold it right there. You're right there. Hold up a little higher. There you go, right there. Facebook. We'll see, tilt it down. All right, right there, perfect. All right, Facebook.com, WORCMTS.
Yep.
Okay, or 508-488-WORC.
And that's our number.
Hey, you lucked out with a good number. Huh?
I did.
Cool, yeah. All right, so Kayla Daly, music. Now, what should someone do if they're maybe they're old? It's all ages.
Yes,
right?
It's all ages.
So if someone is maybe suffering through some issue, whether it's a stroke or something, or some physical issue, or a young child, the parents experiencing that, what should they do? Should they call you first, or should they call their doctors? Or should they tell anybody?
They can call us first and just have a consult. It's free. And so we really recommend that you come in for a free consult, because it's no cost to you to come in and learn about what we can do to help. And if, for our older clients, what we're trying to do is bring the therapy to them. We really don't necessarily want them coming into the center, only because it's harder. It's harder to get around in the winter, especially. So what we would like to do is have music therapists come to them. And so we're setting up those contracts, as we speak. And so just give us a call.
So Worcester Music Therapy Services, 130 Elm Street, right near Elm Park, I take it?
Yes.
Right? And again, dailymusictx@gmail.com, or the other site, where is it now?
Oh, it's right
website?
here.
Okay, yeah. So it's facebook.com, WORCMTS. Those are the contact numbers. Now you say therapist, so you're working with other therapists, so there are others
Right
in the
now,
city?
we're beginning
Good.
to contract other music therapists,
Good.
and actually have a couple of art therapists. That's exciting too.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, great to see that happening. So it's good. So a little serving some economic.
Yeah, we're trying.
Yeah.
Worcester. It's important to me that we
Yeah.
help Worcester.
Yeah,
and the
sure.
economy.
Absolutely. Kayla, thank you very much for sharing what
Thank
you do
you
with
so much
us.
for having me.
It's been a pleasure meeting with you
So
and
nice to
chatting
meet
with
you.
you about music and stuff. It's been fun. I want to thank Kayla Daly, and that's Worcester Music Therapy Services, 130 Elm Street. If you need more information, we also have it here at the TV station at WCCA TV. Mauro DePasquale, and I look forward to seeing you on WCCA TV13, the People's Channel.